up guys, it is Jack, back up in this bitch with 10 Meters Fitness, and today we're talking about what you can achieve naturally. Now, I know most people take the angle on this where, you know, to determine what the best physiques can be naturally, they go back to the era before steroids were initially synthesized, right? So back to and they showcase the greatest physiques of that time, so, you know, the Eugene Sandows and such like, you know. I'll put some examples up on screen for you to see. But I'm not going to take that angle on things, you know, with all due respect to those guys, because although they were from that time, and we can pretty reasonably assume that they were natural, that they weren't taking shit, because the steroids didn't exist. But what we need to realize as well is those are the greatest physiques from that time. Okay, so those are the genetic freaks, the genetic outliers, right? So what I want to talk about is about you know, about the average person. Now, you might be one of these genetically gifted people, you know, but chances are that you're not. Chances are that you're not one of these 1 in 10,000 people. Talking about what you can achieve as, you know, the average Joe, I think the way to look at it is to just break it down and look at it more generally, right? And that is really, you know, obviously in the first year, your first, you know, few years of training, you know, when you initially get into it, you're going to make the noob gains, because as far as, you know, bodybuilding goes and training goes, you're going from nothing to something, right? From not training to training, and that's obviously a huge difference. And then after that, you're reliant on progressive overload to make further gains. So again, that's going from something to a little something more to a little something more over time. So obviously gains are going to slow up after, you know, you make those noob gains. Now, the thing that pisses me off is that you get a lot of these Hollywood transformations, right? The guys who say, you know, in a few months so-and-so gained 40 pounds of muscle for his new movie role. And, you know, he did it all while staying lean, and he looks great for the movie, he looked shit before, whatever. But what you need to realize is that a lot of these transformations are bullshit and they're not natural, right? There are steroids in Hollywood, you know, which not a lot of people want to believe, and not a lot of people, you know about that, right? I mean, and it really pisses me off when these actors, they go on like these talk shows and stuff, and then, you know, like the talk show host is like kissing their ass, telling them like, you know, oh, you look so good, you did so well to transform, and, you know, how did you do it? And then they sit there and they spew some bullshit like, oh, you know, I have access to the best trainers in the world. Fucking, I ate 12 times a day, I ate 5,000 calories, and trained 4 hours a day, and it puts it down to the fact that they just worked really hard. And what that then leads people to believe is that, well, I'm not doing it because I'm not making this transformation myself because I'm not doing such crazy shit, right? Because it all comes down to the fact that I must be lazy, right? And that leads to people, you know, feeling down about themselves and having unrealistic expectations of what can be achieved naturally. So what can actually be achieved naturally is, I mean, well, you look at me, I mean, I started this shit, I started training seriously in March of 2013. I mean, I fucked around before that, you know, got in a little bit of decent shape, then fucked it all up, you know, because I put it aside because of studying, and then had an eating disorder. But I got back into it seriously March 2013, weighing 55 kilograms, lean. And here we are now in October 2015, I'm at 65 kilograms. Right, so that's a 10 kilogram gain in, you know, 2.5 years, right? So, and a lot of people look at me and say, oh, do you even lift, you know? I got my first "do you even lift" comment the other day, guys, you know, big news. But yeah, I still get that people look at me and ask, do I even lift, you know, trolls, obviously. But people say, you know, you shouldn't run a YouTube channel, you're not impressive. But the fact of the matter is, I have come a decent amount of way, but, you know, but you compare it to the stupid Hollywood transformations and things, and that's kind of like whatever. But that's actually, for a natural, that's a decent transformation. Those are decent numbers, you know, to increase by. And what I want people to realise is, if you achieve numbers like that, you know, be happy with yourself, you know, be pleased with your progress, you're doing well, you know, well done. Like, because as a natural, what you can achieve, what you can, you know, expect to achieve is, you know, obviously you make the noob gains, but then after that it's, you know, through progressive overload and you're being dedicated, you know, if you're patient with it, you'll see you gain, your body should be changing small but noticeable differences every few months, and then what happens is they accumulate to small improvements year on year, right? For example, I'm 65 kilograms now. The last time I was at 65 kilograms, I looked a whole lot worse than I do right now, right? So that means this time around I have more muscle and less fat, that ultimate change in body composition that we're ultimately shooting for in this whole bodybuilding thing, right? And the whole physique improvement. So what you need to understand is that small improvements year on year are how it works as a natural. And then from there you've just got to stay dedicated, stay consistent with your diet, your training and your recovery. And what you'll find is that year on year you're looking better and better. And that is ultimately how it works, guys. You've just got to be patient as a natural. And over the course of 5-6 years, those small changes add up and you have a dramatic difference in your physique ultimately, right? But a lot of people, like I say, get influenced by these stupid transformation stories and think that they expect it to happen in a year or in a few months, when realistically as a natural that's just not the case, guys. And that whole misconception is, in my opinion, one of the leading reasons that so many people end up on steroids and stuff, because they just get impatient. It's like, I'm working my ass off, and I still look like shit or whatever. I still don't look as good as I want to look. It's been a couple years already, and it's like, it's just like the body can't adapt fast enough to meet their crazy expectations, which come about as a result of fake naturals essentially, right? So yeah, that's really all I have to say on that today. Bit of a rant. The message is, to all my naturals out there, stay patient. Keep working. You're doing it right if you're gaining small changes, month on month. That you're doing it right. Okay, be pleased with yourself. Be proud of what you've achieved to this point. Don't compare yourself to others, like specifically, especially in the media. And just keep on that grind, guys. Right. Okay, so that's pretty much all I have to say on that today, guys. Hope that's been helpful. Thanks for watching. I've been Jack with 10 Liters Fitness, and I'll see you guys in the next one.